Hey gamers, welcome back to Press B. Today we're going to check out the second trailer from Meta detailing their vision for the future of VR and AR. I haven't really looked into this one yet. I haven't really seen screenshots other than it looked like a guy holding a floating orb or something like that in a stadium. So my guess is that this is going to be something to do with augmented reality and Meta's idea of what augmented reality could be like with friends or with a social group. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Okay, right out of the gate, we got a headset. All right, let's go ahead and press play.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day, this lecture hall will be made of code. And though they're virtual students, what they'll learn together is real. A surgeon will be able to practice as many times as needed in the metaverse before laying her hands on a real patient.
There's a surgery that we watched
aren't
already.
really back in 32 BCE, but they can still
Oh,
watch
that'd be
Mark
freaking
Antony
awesome.
debate in ancient Rome.
I definitely
The
love
metaverse
history.
may be virtual, but the impact will be real.
Okay, another short one, although this seems to be 15 seconds longer. So once he sets the headset on his head, he pops up in a virtual classroom with someone he recognizes. So this is obviously their idea of what VR will actually be like. Maybe they're hinting at using photorealistic avatars. I know that they've shown that in the past. So maybe they're thinking that, much like in the Ready Player One novels, they don't really show this in the movies, but characters in the book go to school in VR, and it's photorealistic, so it's a virtual representation of their actual self, which is exactly what we're seeing here. So they're detailing what school could be like, even college in this case, in the future using virtual reality. What's also interesting, this idea of directly interacting with the professor using a digital representation of what he's talking about. Looks like two cells that are splitting apart and dividing, cellular division. So that's interesting. It could definitely make schoolwork or lectures a bit more interesting. Not only would they be talking about something or referring to something on a chalkboard, but they could actually show you a digital representation of what they're covering in the lecture. So that would definitely be very interesting. I like this idea in particular. This idea of being able to visit a historical setting and not only talk about history or reference a picture in a book, but using virtual reality, we could actually experience what it may have really been like to be somewhere in history. In this particular case, it looks like Rome or Greece. It would be a totally different feeling to not only talk about a historical figure like Julius Caesar or the Inca Emperor Atahualpa, but also be able to travel there and see a digital representation that's historically accurate. You could not only learn about history, but you could embody history and have a much more intimate understanding. Say, instead of just reading about what it was like to live in Rome, we could create a simulation of Rome and actually live there for a day, something like that. Historical tourism. That would be a really interesting idea. I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, honestly, I think that in this case, using VR for education, I mean, we have seen that already. There already are applications that you can download for virtual reality headsets that let you go on the International Space Station, or there's a National Geographic one that lets you like travel to different places in history. I remember there was one back on the Gear VR, and I know there's one for Quest. I haven't tried it yet. That might be pretty cool to do a gameplay video on. I know that there's a cooking game that came out recently that allows you to actually cook real historical recipes, which teaches you something about the culture that they're from. Immersive learning opportunities in VR is definitely something that I think will be developed further and has a lot of potential. I think that history is very important to learn, and science and other subjects. And if you could give someone a much more intimate understanding of those subjects, I think that the profoundness of the insights you gain from it would be that much greater. You know, the ability to walk on the surface of Mars and feel as though you're actually present there could really, revolutionize how we teach astronomy and things like that. So I definitely love this idea. I think that it has a lot of potential, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. So with that, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, gamers.